Hi, my name's Eric, and I'll be reading you selections from the e-edition of today's Cape Cod Times, dated Monday, December 16th of 2024. We'll start with the weather, as we always do. Today, cloudy with a bit of rain in the afternoon across the Cape and Islands, a high of 45 expected. Overnight, partly cloudy with a few showers later, a low of 40. Tomorrow, Tuesday, breezy rain and drizzle in the morning, high of 55, a low of 34, warms up quite a bit tomorrow during the day. On Wednesday, sun and then clouds and rain at night. High of 46, a low of 38. On Thursday, increasing amounts of sun, much more temperate weather for this time of year. 44 the expected high, 28 the expected low. And on Friday, cloudy with a chance of a little rain. So with a high of 40 and a low of 37. So rain off and on basically throughout the week. Sun will rise at 7:02 a.m. today. It'll set at 4:12 p.m. We'll have 9 hours and 10 minutes of daylight. Now, heading to the front of the paper, where the news and the lottery results are kept, and we read these lottery results because, well, somebody asked for them. If there's something you would like read to people who are blind or print disabled, you can email us at info@audiblelocalledger.org or call us at 508-539-2030, and we'll consider reading it. And if you miss any of the information that we share in our readings, you can always go to audiblelocalledger.org, click on the Listen tab, and catch up on a week's worth of our newspaper readings, which we keep up there, as well as a wide variety of periodicals, literature, radio plays, etc. And our grocery guides are there as well for what's on sale at the grocery store. All of that free for people who are blind or print disabled at audiblelocalledger.org. For the latest lottery results, we go to masslottery.com because the Cape Cod Times goes to press too early to give you the latest results, and if you ask for them, you certainly deserve those. So for the numbers game of Sunday, December 15th, in the midday drawing, the results were 3, 9, 1, 8. Again, yesterday's midday drawing of the numbers game, 3, 9, 1, 8. In the evening drawing last night, the results were 4, 4, 7, 8. Again, last night's numbers game results in the evening drawing, 4, 4, 7, 8. Mass cash for Sunday, December 15th, 1, 3, 5, 14, and 28. And Lucky for Life rounds out our lottery results for Sunday, December 15th with 9, 12, 22, 36, and 45, with 3, the bonus number. Good luck to all who play. Remember us if you win. From the front page of the Cape Cod Times, Provincetown begins flood control pilot project. Protection ramps up as storm season begins, by Heather McCarran. As stormy weather rolled in on Wednesday, Provincetown DPW workers spent the afternoon deploying new orange water diversion barriers along parts of Commercial Street. With high tide expected to coincide with the brunt of the storm overnight, it was the perfect opportunity to give the barriers a try. They're all part of a coastal storm flood protection pilot program the town is launching to lessen flooding in parts of town. This was our first day deploying the new orange barriers that the town purchased for the program, Assistant Town Manager Dan Riviello said. The L-shaped flood protection barriers, manufactured by New York-based Garrison Flood Control, are comprised of interlocking panels that are kept in place by the weight of the water. Foam seals on the undersides and edges help minimize any potential seepage. Riviello said the panels are easily installed. We had about 150 feet in total length put up in 2 separate sections on Wednesday, he said. DPW staff, Riviello added, had positive things to say about it, and numerous residents say they're happy to see the town taking some active steps to lessen the effects of flooding from storms. The barriers were expected to be put to the test overnight and with the Thursday morning high tide. Riviello said the barriers are getting tested in the low-lying areas in part of the East End, where there's a seawall that frequently gets overtopped by storm surge. The barriers direct water so that catch basins can absorb it and keep water from rushing across properties and parking lots. We do have a second kind of deployable barrier that's en route to town. It has a metal frame and sort of like a skin that goes over the top of it that would be more useful in the West End, Riviello said. The program was funded through a $150,000 capital improvement program investment proposed by the Select Board and approved by town meeting voters at the 2024 annual town meeting, he said. It will specifically target 2 areas along Commercial Street, including the stretch from Anthony Street to Howland Street, as well as around the West End parking lot from 40 to 54 Commercial Street. According to the town manager's office, the project is a short-term effort during which different flood protection methods and technologies will be put to the test. DPW staff will get the chance to experiment with timing and placement of flood control barriers and evaluate how effective they are. By focusing on the flood-prone areas, town leaders expect to gain insight to inform broader-scale interventions in the future. While we recognize that flooding affects many parts of town, this winter's pilot project will allow us to focus on these high-risk areas, learn lessons that could be applied elsewhere, and help protect property owners from severe flooding, said Town Manager Alex Morse. Town staff will be examining different types of barriers, evaluating their ease of deployment, and observing their impact on floodwater containment and diversion, he said. The town's also putting a new quick-fill sandbag machine into service this winter so that DPW staff can prepare sandbags more quickly for residents who wish to use them to help protect their own properties. Residents will be able to pick up sandbags as needed at the DPW Highway Garage at 24 Race Road. The town is also developing a comprehensive coastal resilience plan in cooperation with Woods Hole Group, SCAPE, Landscape Architecture, and Environmental Design and Research. According to the town manager's office, the plan aims to address the pressing challenges of climate change and increasing flood risk, and to analyze current and projected threats to Provincetown's population, housing, infrastructure, economy, civic spaces, and natural and historic resources. The plan takes into consideration forecasted sea level rise, storm surge, and erosion effects through 2070, and will look at near and long-term strategies for making the town more resilient. Ultimately, the plan will provide a roadmap for site-specific and town-wide adaptation projects, policies, and priorities, according to a release from the town manager's office. As the storm season gets underway, residents and property owners are reminded to sign up for the town's emergency alert system so they can be kept informed before, during, and after storms. You can register online at alerts.provincetown-ma.gov. For more information on the town's coastal resiliency efforts and information for property owners, you can visit provincetown-ma.gov/2517/coastal-resiliency-information. Next up, a Falmouth School District report. Parents report tumult at forums by Rachel Devaney in Falmouth. It was dinner time at Brandy Santos' home on November 7th as a handful of parents gathered in her living room to discuss Navigating the Future Together, a collection of 5 proposals that the school district unveiled on September 16th. As children shrieked with laughter in the next room, Santos told the Times that the parents are members of Save Our Schools. The group had begun meeting regularly to discuss what she called detrimental aspects surrounding the district's proposals. Superintendent Lori Dewar has been selective answering questions, and the trust between the district and the community has really been destroyed, said Santos. According to the Navigating the Future Together website, the proposals were created to focus on challenges like early childhood education, declining enrollment, and aging buildings. The first proposal, according to the plan, would be to convert T-Ticket Elementary School into an early learning center. Proposal 2 would merge T-Ticket Elementary students into East Falmouth Elementary. Proposal 3 would take the Morse Pond building offline as a school to be repurposed by the town. And Proposal 4 will reconfigure grades for schools serving grades 5 to 8. And Proposal 5 calls for renovations to the Lawrence School. Families feel the merge will contribute to overcrowding and make learning worse for studies at East Falmouth, said Santos. Save Our Schools was also upset that the district hadn't engaged parents and others before the proposals were drafted and didn't launch a feasibility study to gather data specific to the Falmouth School District. Responding to the public backlash, Dewar announced on October 28th that she'd pause any district changes until after the 2025-26 school year. On Tuesday, the school committee unanimously voted to submit a letter of interest to the Massachusetts School Building Authority for a grant that could help finance renovations at the Lawrence School. Throughout the fall, Dewar held informational sessions designed to find out what the public thought about the proposals. I heard what the community had to say, so we're leaving everything the way it is for next year, said Dewar during a November 1st phone interview with the Times. Dominique Kirk, a parent of children at T-Ticket, said those community forums haven't lessened her fears. There's been so much yelling and fighting and backlash, said Kirk, who also works in specialized student programs at T-Ticket. We've had more questions leaving the open forums than when we walked in. So why the backlash? In October, parents formed Save Our Schools and wrote a petition to protest the proposals. As of Thursday, that petition has 908 signatures. Group members said that condensing schools would violate Individualized Education Programs, or IEP, laws. According to DESE, East Falmouth students are 70% high needs, and 65% of students at T-Ticket are high needs. In addition, the merger would impact art and music rooms, said Santos, and if T-Ticket is solely serving pre-kindergarten students, only half of the classrooms will be used. Why does the merge affect only one part of town, said Santos. I feel like much of Dr. Dewar's data is based on assumptions and ideas, not concrete facts. According to the district, enrollment has declined over 25 years. Since 2020, the student population has declined by about 13%, from 3,351 to 2,904 students, according to the district's website. As the district serves fewer students, some of the buildings have become underused, said Dewar. Mallory Lavallee, a member of the Building Needs Committee, a group that makes recommendations to the school committee, told the Times in an October 22nd email that Dewar has offered to add modules at East Falmouth to meet the needs of the overflow. But Dewar won't consider spreading out the preschools or initiate a redistricting process, Lavallee said. Dewar told the Times that redistricting has never been on the table. Save Our Schools has urged the district to evenly distribute needier students without disrupting other students, with the ultimate goal of not closing any elementary schools. It's important that the decision-making process takes into account the least disruptive solution possible, balancing the needs of all students, and it maintains the high quality of education our children deserve, reads the Save Our Schools petition. What's the rush? Mike McCarthy of T-Ticket told the Times in an October 22nd email that it seemed irresponsible to proceed with district changes without studying assessment plans, housing forecasts for the area, health and safety data, traffic assessments, building conditions, and classroom conditions. It leaves me asking, what's the rush? Said McCarthy. Without a feasibility study, Kirk said the district is limiting itself. This is an opportunity to look at the bigger picture and find solutions. If we are asking the community to spend millions to renovate Lawrence, transparent data is needed, she said. Dewar told the Times on Tuesday that a feasibility study for the district isn't being considered, mostly due to its $2 million price tag. A feasibility study for the Lawrence School will be done if renovations move forward, she said. Dewar has also approved a needs assessment study, which is being conducted by the New England School Development Council. The council will analyze enrollment projections, facilities use, and will present a report that includes a series of options for consideration, said Dewar. The assessment will cost the district about $19,000, she said. Dewar also assembled a building needs task force, she said. Based on the findings and recommendations of the council, the school committee, and administration, in consultation with the task force, they will establish a schedule for additional public engagement and decision, said Dewar. Can the district rebuild trust? Parents are in favor of a universal free pre-kindergarten program and renovations at Lawrence, but Kirk said it seems like everything is moving too fast. It seems like Dr. Dewar is chasing her budget and her legacy and doesn't care about the children in between, said Kirk. The process surrounding the proposals has been challenging, said Kirk, but she's proud of the strides Save Our Schools has made. Our families have built our lives around T-Ticket's unique educational atmosphere, said Kirk. We just want a safe and nurturing environment that we can trust. Keeping it local and moving inside the paper, crews from several departments put out a fire at a sandwich building. Firefighters from Sandwich and other departments fought a 2-alarm fire Saturday morning in a commercial building in the Sandwich Industrial Park. No injuries were reported. At 8:21 a.m., the department answered a call about smoke in the building at 18 Jan Sebastian Drive, according to a release from Fire Chief John Burke. Crews found heavy smoke in Unit 3 where the sprinkler system went off spraying water. The department sent out a second alarm fire to bring additional help from Joint Base Fire Department and Mashpee Fire, Bourne Fire, Cotuit Fire, and Com Fire to the scene. Sandwich firefighters entered the building, supplying the sprinkler system with more water. Crews found a fire on the building's second deck that had been put out by the sprinkler system. It took firefighters 30 minutes to put out the fire, and crews remained for another hour ventilating the multiple units in the building. A total of 34 firefighters went to the fire with a Providence Canteen, who provided coffee and drinks. The Falmouth, West Barnstable, and Barnstable fire departments provided station coverage, the chief said. And the fire is being investigated by the department's Fire Investigation Unit. Moving into the Cape and Islands section, keeping it local, dead whale in Plymouth to be moved to Bourne. What to know by Seth Jacobson. A dead humpback whale that washed up on Bayside Beach in Plymouth earlier this week will likely be moved to Bourne for study. As of Thursday, the whale remained anchored on site where it first stranded. Whale and Dolphin Conservation North America Executive Director Regina Asmodis Sylvia said, "We're still trying to coordinate a possible move to a location in Bourne where he can be necropsied, have an animal autopsy," she said. "We're hoping to be able to transport him tomorrow, Friday, December 13th at the time, but all of the stars have to align. The whale's been on the beach since Tuesday, and many questions remain. What is known is that the humpback was young. All of these cases are sad and tragic in their own right, but it's hard to lose such a young whale, knowing he may never have migrated on his own, or had the chance to participate in a rowdy group on the breeding area, or be part of a singing competition, or any of the other rites of passage male humpback whales should experience over their lifetimes. Here's what's happening now with the deceased whale. How heavy is it? Asmodis Sylvia said that the whale weighs somewhere between 20 and 25,000 pounds. Moving a whale, even a young animal, is not simple. There needs to be access for heavy equipment on the beach, which is not only about the conditions on the beach, but also depends on tides and waves, as well as available trucks and flatbeds, which can manage the size and weight and are able to contain the animal so that there's no major leaks of body fluids on the road. She added that there's a large cost associated with moving the whale, noting the situation depends on whether funds are available to pay for all the equipment and personnel required to move the whale. Do officials know how the whale died? Asmodis Sylvia stated that her team is hoping to have an internal investigation that may reveal more information about why the whale died. "We don't believe the whale stranded live," in explanation, got stuck in a shallow area. "So we'd like to investigate other potential causes of death." However, it's important to realize that whales are mammals, and they're encased in blubber, so their internal organs decompose incredibly quickly. The longer the whale's on the beach, a matter of hours, the more difficult it is to evaluate organs and muscles. The team is hoping to be able to collect data on the whale, such as size, length, identification, wound analysis, to better understand what happened. They want to conduct a necropsy. Asmodis Sylvia said there are times when an external exam may not show any signs of trauma, noting that a necropsy may show bruising or broken bones consistent with blunt force trauma, or indications of drowning, which can sometimes happen when whales are accidentally entangled. She added that a necropsy can also reveal any infectious diseases that are present. The Boston Tea Party's anniversary is coming up, is our next headline in the Cape and Islands section of today's Cape Cod Times, dated Monday, December 16th. This is reported by Melina Khan. The anniversary of the Boston Tea Party, one of the most infamous protests leading up to the American Revolution, is days away. In December of 1773, political activists known as the Sons of Liberty took to Boston Harbor to dump more than 90,000 pounds of tea in the ocean in protest against taxes imposed by the British. The protest intensified tensions between colonists throughout the 13 colonies and the British government, eventually leading to the battles of Lexington and Concord and then the American Revolution. Here's what to know about the history and how you can relive it here in Boston. When was it? The protest took place on December 16th, 1773, nearly 251 years ago. On that day, the Sons of Liberty, dressed as indigenous people, and boarded 3 ships of cargo from the British East India Company. In a span of 3 hours, they smashed 340 chests of tea and dumped over 92,000 pounds of tea into Boston Harbor. The damage caused in today's money was worth more than $1.7 million. Some modern estimates say that the destroyed tea would have brewed more than 18 million cups, according to the Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum. What was the protest about? The Boston Tea Party was in response to the Tea Act, which in part maintained a tax on tea imposed by the British Parliament. The Tea Act allowed the British East India Company to ship unused tea to America and then be sold at a reduced rate. This practice undercut colonial merchants whose businesses depended on the resale of tea bought in British markets or smuggled into America. You can relive the Boston Tea Party and learn more about it through the Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum in Boston. The museum offers guided tours and other packages like trolley tours. Ticket prices vary based on the package. With general admission to the museum, visitors can tour a replica of an 18th century vessel. They can dump tea in the sea and see the only known surviving tea chest from the Boston Tea Party. Final story in the Cape and Islands section, Capturing a Moment of Holiday Spirit by Steve Heslip. The holiday to-do list grows longer as the hours of daylight grow shorter. Winter in 2025 will be arriving shortly, but the rise of artificial intelligence is ready to help. Human interactions of any kind are disappearing fast when a few clicks or voice commands can quickly dispatch shopping orders, which arrive on the doorstep, guarded by a security camera, in as little as hours later. If this is Dickens's A Christmas Carol, we're all being guided around by the ghost of Christmas future. The future plays out in front of us, but we're helpless to do anything. But are we? The convenience of letting a robot do all the work is tempting. Flip the on switch and Roomba will clean the floors while you sip tea and send out the Christmas cards. Direct Siri to find the perfect gift for a hard-to-shop-for spouse, all while hanging the mistletoe. Yes, the holiday hustle is messy, long lines, short tempers, and out-of-stock items. Interacting with others, all out on the same mission, can test the patience of a saint. The wandering photojournalist lives in this world daily. The upside? I'm on a first-name basis with Santa. He has my number, I have his. The secret to staying sane through all this might just be calling on a few robots to help. But when they free up some time, don't waste it. Go find meaningful holiday human interactions. Give yourself a gift. Go for a walk. Find a concert or performance. Wander down a main street and shop local. My gift each year is a trip to the Nutcracker Ballet dress rehearsal. I'm photographing, but this could hardly be called work, capturing the pirouettes and backstage moments all in step to Tchaikovsky's music. By the finale, I'm out in the nearly empty auditorium, just watching and listening. True holiday bliss. I will let Dr. Seuss's Grinch have the last say on this topic. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. There is one obituary in today's Cape Cod Times dated Monday, December 16th. It's of John Richard Willett of Naples, Florida and Hyannis, who passed peacefully surrounded by his family on Thursday, December 12th. Jack was born on March 28, 1936 in Woburn. He grew up in Stoneham with his older brother Ray, whom he adored. He was the husband of the late Elizabeth Mary Betty Willett. Jack Willett was a gem. He was as positive as the day is long. His vibrant and welcoming personality provided safe harbor to anyone in his orbit. He'll be dearly missed by his family and his many friends. May he rest in peace. Following graduation from Stoneham High School, Jack attended Northeastern University, Thereafter enlisted in the Navy and served aboard the aircraft carrier USS Saratoga, patrolling the Mediterranean and traveling around the world. Thank you, Mr. Willett, for your service and sacrifice to the country. Following his Navy service, Jack returned to Boston and went to work for the Boston Edison Company as a line worker. He was an avid pilot and enjoyed flying Cessnas and other light aircraft around the New England airspace. He also loved working on cars, particularly his 1957 Cadillac, and skiing. Fate brought Jack and Nurse Betty, his co-worker from the Edison, together, and they took many ski trips with the Jackson, New Hampshire Ski Club up to Wildcat Mountain. They were married in 1962. They were blessed with 4 children whom they raised on Cape Cod, a move they made after a prolonged strike at the Edison. Jack then began a new career in sales at Sears Roebuck and Company. He honed his natural sales skills at Sears before eventually joining the Colonial Gas Company, where he would spend the rest of his career, eventually rising to the role of the regional sales manager. Jack pioneered an approach to making natural gas more attainable for residents all over the Cape. He was proud of the work that he did to help grow the use of the Earth's cleanest burning fuel. His priority, though, was always his family. He could often be seen standing on a high bench at the Kennedy Rink in Hyannis, watching his boys play hockey or his girls compete in figure skating. In warmer weather, Jack was always on the sidelines for lacrosse, soccer, and field hockey games. He treasured his time with family, friends, and eventually grandchildren at the Hyannis Yacht Club and the Glades Country Club in Naples, Florida. Jack and Betty enjoyed many summers on their boat, the Fifth Degree, taking HYC cruises around New England waters, family day trips, and several times participating on the Fagawi Race Committee boat. Jack is predeceased by his wife, Betty, and will be survived by many who will miss him dearly. A funeral mass celebrating Jack's life will be held on Friday, December 20th at 11 a.m. at Our Lady of Victory Church, 230 South Main Street, followed by a memorial service this Friday at 1:15 p.m. at the Massachusetts National Cemetery, Connery Avenue in Bourne. In lieu of flowers, any donations may be made to the Pan Mass Challenge in memory of John G. Willett, to Team Willpower, TWO 156, care of Pan Mass Challenge, P.O. Box 415590, Boston, Mass. And in our final story, keeping it local, and we've read all the local news, Harwich resident and police officer report seeing drones Thursday. Harwich is one of the latest communities in the Northeast where residents and law enforcement have reported drones in the skies above. According to a release from Harwich, the police department, a resident, and an off-duty Harwich police officer both reported seeing drones in separate sightings Thursday night. The department said a resident called the police December 12th to report unknown drone activity over her home. She went outside around 9 p.m. and saw 10 to 15 drones. She couldn't hear them, but they were very bright, police said, and she watched them for more than an hour. Earlier, about 6 p.m., the off-duty Harwich officer saw similar drone activity near the public safety complex on Sisson Road. The drones are similar to those reported over the last couple of weeks in New Jersey, New York, and more recently Connecticut, the department said. The Harwich release said that the department has forwarded its reports to the Boston office of the FBI and the Massachusetts State Police. And with that, we've come to the end of our reading of the Cape Cod Times for today, Monday, December 16th of 2024. This is your reader, Eric, saying be well, be safe, look after each other. Remember our veterans, especially those we've lost recently. Bye for now.